This enough so that as long as my internet holds up, everything should be good.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I hope you have a good meeting.
Thanks. Thanks for getting
Bye.
us started.
Oh, yeah, no problem at all.
Yeah, good.
Hello?
Hi,
Hello?
Joanne.
Oh,
Okay.
So who have we got here?
Emily?
Emily, good.
Hi.
Hi, Emily.
I'm Roger Davis. I got the request in for those 3 trees on Beta Avenue.
Okay. Roger Davis, good. Oh, looks like there's Edie.
Hi, Martha.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Catherine Hewitt, Joanne.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Do I
Do
have,
I have
audio?
audio?
Hi, Joanne.
Okay.
Okay.
Start to see people now.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Is this Joanne?
God, got two people on the same thing.
What? What's that?
Hmm.
Hello?
Hi, Michael.
Hi, who's this?
That's Emily.
Oh, hi, Emily.
Hi, I don't know if anybody else is still on.
I was getting this strange whistling sound, like I was being piped on board a ship.
Yeah, it was like someone's alarm was going off.
Yes.
That happens when someone is on more than once.
Okay.
If you're logged in twice, it starts to scream at you. It's a feedback.
Well, okay, so we have Joanne, Emily, and Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Davis, Edie Twining, Catherine Hewitt,
So we need Joan, Anne, um, and that they're the commission members who have not called in. Just Joan and Anne, correct?
yep.
Okay. So we'll wait a minute or so. I guess we do have a quorum with Emily and Michael and myself.
Okay, that's good.
We have Martha, since this is only our second time, we have an hour on using WebEx. Do they cut out after the hour ends?
No.
Okay.
It'll go, the meeting will last until I stop it, because now I'm
Okay.
the host.
Okay, good. So we'll wait a minute or so for Anne and for Joan. Okay, I have 4:05, is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order. We have minutes to approve from the September 17th and October 15th meeting. However, Emily was absent, so the only ones who are there, we don't have a quorum to approve them, is Michael and myself. Ann and Joan were present, but are not on now, not here now. And then the October 15th minutes, Emily was present. Michael was not. So we will not be able to approve the 2 months of meeting minutes.
Okay.
Do you have that, Martha?
Yep, got that.
Okay. So we'll move on to the budget. The 2020, 2021 budget report. The total remaining balance as of November 4, $13,768. The 2019-2020 budget carryover approved by the Board of Finance. And just as a reminder, the total carryover approved was 3,900.
Okay.
2,400 for contracted services and 1,500 for tree planting. One invoice. I approved one invoice to Bartlett Trees for $1,305. And that was deducted from that contracted services carryover.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
Are there any questions, Emily, Michael?
Nope.
Okay.
No, all good.
Okay, so now we will move to new business. And we welcome Edie Twining. She will do a presentation for Silling and Lime Street North Green, a landscape design proposal. Hi, Edie. How are
Hi.
you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I just want to give you a quick little reason I came up with this. I've been a longtime resident of Old Lyme in terms of family connections here. I recently moved back to Old Lyme from being in Boston for many years. And I'm on all sorts of boards like the Old Lyme Land Trust, Old Lyme Historical Society. And my family's home has been on Sill Lane for 3 generations, and I've seen the changes along Sill Lane for many years. Last spring, I actually cleared a section of Sill Lane right up near to the beginning of it because it had gotten totally overgrown and it was connected to some Old Lyme Land Trust property. And so it is now, you can see the stone wall all the way down Sill Lane, which is a nice thing.
Oh, that was nice. Where was the property? Land trust
It's
property?
8 Sill Lane. It's actually just recently changed hands, and those folks are,
Yes.
that's a piece of easement land from the land trust.
Mhm.
But it was completely overgrown, like 80 feet of, everything.
Yes, I saw that. So I know where I know that very
So-
well.
And when I was young, that little, what I'll call Sill Lane Park, was enclosed with very tall arborvitae, which was a nice secret little hideout in there, but apparently wasn't a good idea for younger people to be in there. So it eventually, all the arborvitae, except for maybe one, got chopped down, and now we have kind of a sea of crabgrass and that wonderful stone bench, which was a WPA project years ago.
Mhm.
And also the trough that the Druck River Garden Club maintains. So I drive by there all the time now, and I'm looking at it saying, God, there's so many people that walk up and down Sill Lane these days for exercise. Wouldn't it be nice if that had a little nicer look and feel to it than what it is today? Of course, I wasn't aware that you guys were considering planting some trees there. So I was going to just share the little presentation, if that, I think can do that.
Sure. Sure. We have Martha sent everyone the documents, so we
Okay.
do have it. I'm looking at it now.
Okay, so I
At
think
your
I can put
document.
it up here. Okay, so let's see if I can close that part. No, I don't know. It's got, anyway, so this is the existing condition, a sort of aerial view. On the right side, you'll see some of the pieces like the planter trough and the little bench seat and a mile marker for the post road, and then a long distance view of it as you see it from there. And so I know you guys have looked at this, but I just want to reiterate what's going on here. So here it is in its glory today. I'm not sure that planter really goes with the style of Old Lyme, but I know the garden club likes it. And, if anything, we leave it and plant more around it. So the next shot was, this was sort of inspired by seeing what they had done at the exit in Essex at exit 3 last spring. They just planted the daffodils in there. And I just thought, wouldn't it be nice to celebrate springtime with just putting daffodils in, which, once they're finished, you just mow it all down and it's not a big deal. I also am showing some witch hazel next to the bench, mainly just thinking that it is also something that's very much from this part of the world. And when it gets big, it can be really wonderful shrub that could be a nice thing that would also be a springtime view. And then the next view is what it could be like in the summer. And I'm showing hydrangeas. I mean, this is really, there's all sorts of things we could plant there, but I'm just trying to make something of it to make it get the sense of what it could be like. So possibly putting in a sand path that would go down to the bench and beyond to the back where the Tech Tavern is. One of the biggest challenges here, I'm sure, is to figure out how to water this. The other one is how to afford to do any of this work. I've kind of got an idea of wandering up and down the street on Sill Lane and seeing if I can get people interested in getting involved in this, and also possibly talking to some of the neighboring houses and see if there's any way we could get some access to water. Obviously Peck Tavern, the new folks that just moved in there would be the best connection for water, but I'm not sure we'll get there. So, I know there's some challenges in doing anything here, but I think it'd be worth aiming for, and just wanted to see what you guys thought about it.
I love the daffodils, I'll say that. It reminds me of Newport. My daughter lives in Newport and we go up for the Daffodil Festival each year. But they have a very cooperative public works up there. I also live on Silling. We've lived here for 40 plus years. So I've seen the changes as well, Edie. I have a couple of thoughts today. I look forward to future conversations with you about this. But for now, for today, I would just like to talk about the nuts and bolts, and that's the maintenance. You were talking about having a committee of volunteers to help you, and for watering, pruning, you'll have to think about that in the future, and fertilizing.
Yep.
That's the most important component of this project is the maintenance.
Yes.
If you have a committee who will be in charge, thinking about fund and thinking of the viability of the plants.
Okay.
These are my thoughts, and as I said, we can discuss different types of plants in the future, but the maintenance is the first thing that the tree commission always thinks about when we're planting. We don't have a landscape company. We can't find a landscape company to water for us. We planted trees a few years ago, and the company that planted for us said that they would plant. They told us they would water, and it would be $150 per tree. Now, from what I understand, that is not expensive. But I look at this whole plan and think, holy cow, this is going to be quite an undertaking. So that's my first thing for you to think about is obviously the watering, and then in future pruning and fertilizing. I look at the plants arrangement and I think about the viability. I think about the snow plows going by in the winter and plowing 4 feet of snow on the hydrangeas. I think about just from living on Sill Lane and experiencing the power outages. I think Eversource with their trucks that are parked on the green and on the road tending to the wires. So that's another concern with having these shrubs so close to the road. And then I think about public works. Years ago, there were some hollies, if you remember, planted around after all of those evergreen shrubs were removed by John Lohman. And then again, he left some, but after a while they were broken, they started to die, and public works slowly removed them. There were hollies that were growing at one time around that bench, beautiful hollies, but I can't give a reason. I don't know why the public works removed them and just put in grass, because it was lower maintenance for them. So they would definitely, along with the tree warden, be a component of this project. And we would have to bring it as well, because they would be doing the mowing. I don't know if they would be doing, if you're thinking about edging. We have plans in the spring to plant one tree and it is Nyssa sylvatica, which is Tupelo. It's a native tree. We were considering flowering dogwoods, some other types of trees. We were staying away from the ornamental apples and cherries because one of them, or two of them, were actually cut down in the past couple of years because of blight. So we were trying to decide which flowering trees to plant along. So that we have voted on it. We have funds for it. So that tree, at least the Tupelo, will be planted in the spring. We were supposed to plant it in the fall, but when I researched it, it has a very deep taproot and they should only be planted in the springtime. So that's our plans. That's concerns. Maintenance is a commitment forever. So when you have a group of volunteers, and I've experienced this myself at our church, maybe for 2 or 3 years, people will, volunteer, and then slowly they move away. They grow older. They have children. They become involved in their activities, and the committee is not as large as it once was. And if that happens, the responsibility for this will fall on the tree commission. We've worked at Townwoods Park a few years ago with the Junior Women's Club and with the Duck River Garden Club. We planted 4 trees, and they were wonderful the first 2 years. Karen knows about this. She's online now. And she watered those trees for 2 years. And the Duck River Garden Club, they took turns maintaining and weeding. Since that time, I believe it was where's my notes? I made notes today. That was in 2016-17. The trees were planted in 16 and 17. Those 2 years, they really maintained the trees very well. The trees flourished. Since that time, we have spent money to spray for gypsy moth, which they appeared in 2017. We have had the tree and we've had them pruned. And then last year, 2019, the beech tree developed Phytophthora canker disease. So now we're having that treated. So what I'm just trying to tell you all of this to give you an idea of the expenses in the future. Mm-hmm. So that's all idea, my thoughts and for things for you to consider. And we can talk again. I mean, we can talk. I'm not trying to discourage you from planting. And certainly the perennial beds that you have in the front of that design, it seems like it's in that V right before the planter or around the planter where you have a perennial bed, that's fine. We encourage that. We did that at the post office with the garden, work with them there again. And we pulled out some old trees and they put in a very nice perennial bed around the flagpole. So that's not a concern. The beds of daffodils, I would say, I'll just give you another example. When we moved in here in 1980, I planted bulbs out on the green in front of our house. We live at the junction of Saunders Hollow Road and Silling. I planted daffodils there. There were some left over, but I planted more. And every year it was a tug of war with the town crew. Don't mow them until the leaves turn yellow were my instructions. Well, crews came and went, and eventually they were mowed and they disappeared. So I would suggest planting beds of daffodils. Put them in a bed as opposed to covering the whole green, if that's what you would like to do. Mm-hmm. That way the town crew would know parameters that they're working in, and they will be, they know not to touch them. That's my That would be my suggestion for the daffodils. I love that thought. So, and having those bright sunny yellow colors that people can see in the spring. So I'm going to ask the members, Emily and Michael, do you have any thoughts?
I love the concept. I wondered if they could mix in more flowers like hyacinth and whatnot. So I guess I'd like to volunteer to be on her committee if she needed any more people than she found. I was concerned about the shrubs being a little too close to the road, and I thought Public Works would have something to say about that because of the plowing, which I think you mentioned, Joanne.
Yes, and don't forget, Public Works will plow the snow on one side, but then it will be the state DOT on the other. And I don't know if they use road salt anymore, but and if your hydrangeas that are planted, that are in there should be salt resistant, salt tolerant, salt resistant. So that, as you said, it doesn't need to be hydrangeas. It could be something else. And there are many plants that are salt resistant. So that shouldn't be a problem.
Yep. Well,
Michael?
Yeah.
So these are just thoughts, Edie.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea because we've lost a lot of trees on that green over the years. And, so I just think we can all work together and put something there. It may not be as many plants, but we can certainly make it attractive.
Yeah, I definitely put this together as a for instance. I think sometimes when you talk about something with no pictures, people don't know what you're talking about.
Yes,
So
I agree.
that was the main thing. Obviously, you can do things in Photoshop a lot faster than you can grow anything.
Yes,
so
yes.
I know that too. And for what it's worth, I lived in Boston for 40 years. I had hydrangeas all along my sidewalk, which got plowed with 6 feet and more. And the hydrangeas got covered every winter up to their elbows with snow. And they did manage to last and thrive. So I don't know whether that's a history story or not, but certainly I have a couple people that I have in mind. One is a landscape architect who's a good friend of mine who would probably help with selection of plants. And I also am good friends with Mark Comstock, who's running that nursery up at the end of Saunders Hollow. And he's very interested in helping us as well. So, and I guess I kind of felt like if we had some ideas and I start with the new folks that just bought Peck Tavern and talk to them first about whether there's any water they might want to endow us with. That would be the first start. And I think if we keep it local and we keep a group of folks working on this together, it might work. Something might work that could be beautiful and far nicer to sit in than what we've got today. I'm completely flexible on what we end up doing. I did find that when I was cutting all the brush along the other side of Sill Lane there, I was able to get the town folks to come and pick up, the Department of Works guys to come and pick up all that brush for me, which was it's easy to cut things, but a lot harder to get rid of it all. So that was really fantastic that they did that.
Yes, they will. They're very helpful with brush with us too. Yeah.
And, I know Martha mentioned this commission to me about 2 years ago, and I didn't really know what you guys were all about. So I think it's great to get a chance to talk to you and get your feedback. And, I've also been on the garden gang at the Flo Grizz, and I have to say, if you have a good leader, which I'd be happy to lead this project, you can get some pretty devoted people to stick stick it out in terms of maintenance. And I mean, the biggest issue to me is the watering. If we don't have watering, then forget it. We'll just leave it as a grassy yard. But if there's a way of getting that to work, I think we could probably make something work, especially with water resistant plants, things that can live through the seasons. And obviously we would make it so that it was not just a pretty picture, it would be something that would function correctly, because that's kind of key to doing this. So
Yeah.
but I appreciate you taking the time to take a look at it, and I'd love to talk with you more about it, if sometime offline or whatever you'd like to do.
Well, I will, the next step would be I need to talk with the tree warden. I sent him the documents, but I haven't had an opportunity to talk with him. I asked him to look at the documents in an email and review them, and then we would talk. So
This is about the Tupelo?
this is about the plan.
Oh, my drawings. Okay.
This is about the plan. So I sent all of the documents to him. He's already approved the Tupelo. We're go with that. So I'll talk with him probably not till next week.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Where would you put the Tupelo? What?
Well,
So many wires around the two roads. It seems like-
Tupelo will be on the Sill Lane side, well, toward the center from the Sill Lane side. So we took a tree down there a couple of years ago. So we would put in another tall shade tree that had nice fall color, beautiful fall color.
Great.
And that tree, because it was a native, we try to use natives for our plantings.
Yeah.
That's a native. There are berries that attract the birds in the fall, and the bees, the flowers in the spring. And it's pretty. It doesn't spread. The Tupelo is more of a triangular shape than full like a maple. It has glossy leaves. The leaves are shiny, and they are beautiful in the fall. They turn a fiery red. Just the cultivar that we're looking at. So,
Great. And so you're talking with the tree warden next week?
I hope to.
Yeah.
I hope to. Yeah.
Is that something that I should come join you with, or if he's talking about this particular plan, or you have other things you're doing?
Well, I'm just going to give him the talk with him about this meeting, and then I hope that maybe we can meet in January. I don't know that we'll have a meeting in December, and I had hoped we could meet face to face at town hall, but obviously that's not going to work out, and we don't know what we have in the future yet. So I'm thinking about starting in January. Do you? I mean, you're going to need to get a lot of things together as well. So the next time we should talk probably would be at our January meeting, and see if then we can I'll get his feedback, see what he thinks about the plantings. And then hopefully maybe I can encourage him to come to that meeting. And he works out of town, so he's not available to come to the meetings. But if I give him enough heads up, and enough notice, he tries to come when we need him. So right now we're working on new sidewalks on Ferry Road. So that's
I
been
heard about that.
quite a project.
Yeah. I have one last
with
question.
tree
So
planting.
I happen to have 50 daffodil bulbs that I've got to get in the ground sooner or later. And if I were to just put them in one little clump down there, do you think that would be all right, or do I need some special permission to do that?
What I would
love that it's
suggest
there
for
for
next
spring.
year, if you're going to just put them in, I would suggest making it's probably too much work, but digging out the sod and put them in one space in a circle. I mean, to naturalize them is going to be it's just going to be difficult, I think, just judging from
I mean, I
experience.
don't really mind if they get mowed down and they don't last another year. I just have them.
Well,
and
then,
I
if you don't mind
get them
that, go
anytime.
ahead. If you don't mind, because it does take a while for the foliage to turn yellow and until they can be mowed.
Yeah,
So that's it. I know when I've seen them in Newport, they Public Works is very cooperative, but they have them in spaces. The ones they go natural, they have them in spaces like on shoulders of the road where it doesn't matter if it's mowed. This area is highly visible. So I'm thinking that putting daffodils covering that area, the grass will start growing and it won't look as attractive as maybe some people would like to see. That's what I'm thinking, but it doesn't bother me, but some people might object to that.
I mean,
I make
there's
a
only
comment.
50.
Sure, absolutely. We're here to
Yeah.
talk.
Oh, okay. Hi, Edie and
Hi.
Joanne. We spoke with Edie. I'm the president of the Duck River Garden Club, and we're very much in support of doing something with Sill Lane or helping in some way. And one of the things we mentioned, a lot of our members have the same concerns about the daffodils because of the need to mow them down and them not lasting that long. And one of the suggestions we had made was to start with a row of daffodils around the stone seating there. And then maybe I like that idea of doing maybe another couple of maybe small, either square or round beds at different
Yes.
parts of there. That way that it can be
Yes.
mowed around and it will have a life, and that way it probably can stay. So I'm thinking that would
Exactly.
that would be good. And the other thing I wanted to mention is the duckies are still quite interested in maintaining that trough or that planter. And we don't know if it could be moved, and we don't want it to break, but there's still a group of people that maintain it, and they would like the opportunity to still fill it with plants. So but the third thing was the duckies that were interested in what gets planted there were willing to advise. And I know you said, Joanne, that you've got master gardeners on your group in your group that would advise too. But they felt that the hydrangeas are really very, very thirsty, and having that much sun in the open like that might not be a good place to plant them. And they were thinking they'd like to, if there's an opportunity, advise too on some good things to plant in there. So I kind of like the idea that we all come together and make it a town project. And of
Yeah.
course, we're going to have a pollinator pathway project. We're going to be located on the pollinator pathway map, which right now Old Lyme currently is not. And Cheryl Poirier and Suzanne Thompson are the two people that have just been designated. So we would like to make that a stop on the pollinator pathway, which would mean that maybe the area that has those wildflowers and plants would be a good place to put some pollinators in.
Sounds good. Yes, and Emily also, I think I wrote to you, Karen, she has a degree in horticulture. So, and we worked as a group on our commission worked with the landscape architect on all the plantings at Town Hall. I think we scrubbed 80 out of the plan because it was so overplanted, and it's still overplanted. But anyway, we really, and we substituted viburnums, a lot of native plants for Town Hall, which is a very pretty landscape with especially when you enter from the back with the lilacs and some of the other plants. So we have experience certainly in designing and substituting plants for public landscapes. So,
Great.
Yeah, that
but
would
as
be
I said, the
perfect.
if you do a perennial bed and it's edged nicely, they can mow around it. And as far as perennials, as you know, Karen, with the police station, You did a great job. We were just concerned with the shrubs and the tree, the memorial tree, and you did a great job. It's very, very, so we'll just leave that up to you, up to you and the
Yeah.
rest of the committee.
Well, that's,
If you still
yeah,
want to put that in.
sure, when it gets to that time, and if you want our committee to advise, because we're really gonna want some pollinators, and that's what's getting everybody excited now. So,
Yeah. Yes.
so
Yes, if
we
you-
would definitely like to help in any way.
Yeah, if you want to enlarge around the planter and include daffodils, I would say, put in a bed around the planter and include daffodils in that plan, along
Well,
with
you
maybe.
just have to be able to walk up to that planter in order to
Yes,
plant it, and also if it would only be able to be on 3 sides of it. But I'm thinking the round area where you seat, you could have like maybe an 8 to 10 inch area where daffodils could be kind of cross planted and kind of go all the way around. So what'll happen is when you look at that, when you look at that stone seating, you'll see the nice green fronds, and then the daffodils, and then when they die off, they could just stay there without
Yes.
being mowed down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
And then if there's and if there's another bed or 2 beds somewhere else, either a circle or square with just daffodils, they'll be visible in daffodil time, and I think they'll look really
Yes.
nice and can be mowed
Yeah.
around.
That's the idea that I had after we finished the town hall landscape plan, when I reached out to the club and asked them if they would plant daffodils. And that's exactly what's happened. The foliage dies away, but then the myrtle is growing and the azaleas are growing. So you don't really notice them, and they look so pretty in the spring. So I think it sounds good. Emily, do you have any comments?
I disagree with everybody. I think these are all great points, and I had all the similar concerns as you guys all had. So I think we've got a bunch of great people who know what they're doing.
Good. So great.
I won't add a word. Nope.
Okay, so how about if we say we will meet again in January?
Okay.
And you can maybe talk with some of your volunteers. I will talk with the tree warden. Karen, you can talk with the garden club. And I just wanted to do nuts and bolts tonight. And then we'll talk about plants maybe in January. Sound good?
Sounds
Sounds
great.
good.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Good,
it.
good.
Okay. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Got to figure out how to sign out here. There we go. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next thing under new business, the 2021-22 tree commission budget request. We have to work on a new budget, and I reviewed it today. And I'm thinking about making one change. I thought that maybe we should, I'll just review what it is, what we've had in 2021. We budgeted $1,250 for the town, for our tree clerk, $200 for postage, the tree warden stipend of $3,000, tree contracted services of $8,000, and tree other, which is our planting, of $1,500. This year, or next year, 21-22, I thought we would keep tree clerk the same. The tree postage at $200, I thought this is just a thought, and you guys can talk about it. Taking $100 from that budget of $200 and adding it to the tree let's see, where is it? Tree other. for tree planting. Miscellaneous. So it would bring that to 1,600 instead of 1,500. So the total would be the same, $13,950. We're just moving $100 of our budget to the tree planting line. How does that
Sounds good to
sound? Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
can't
By
remember
me.
how often
Okay.
we even mail anything much anymore, huh?
I mean, well, we do sometimes, but it's a minimal amount. And so I thought I would reduce it. I just remember the one year that we had to send letters to all of the residents of Griswold Avenue, and
Right.
it's a lot of postage. So I like to keep something in there just in the event that we need to do a large mail out.
Yeah.
We obviously last year we didn't use a lot of our money, so it was pretty quiet last year. I think we spent of all the years since we've been a tree commission and we've had a budget, that's 2001. Last year was the least amount of money that we spent for some reason. I don't know why, but other than there wasn't much. We had trees, I think, trimmed on that, some storm damage by Bartlett, and they treated the beech tree over at Townwoods Park, but that's really all. So I thought this year the budget would be the same. We may need more money for tree planting on Ferry Road, but we'll have to just talk about that if it happens. I know there's going to be money in that project for tree planting. So we can plant at least one tree, and we'll see what happens. So do you agree, Emily and Michael?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then I need a motion to approve the 2021, 2022 budget, total budget of $13,950. Who will make the motion? Who will make the motion?
I can make the motion.
Okay, Emily.
2021-22 budget for $13,950.
Okay,
Seconded.
okay, thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. Okay, so that's approved. I have, let's see. You were sent, Martha sent the meeting schedule for next year. So we will need to vote on that to approve the meeting schedule. Martha checked all of the dates. They're all correct. So I'll need a motion to approve the 2021 Tree Commission meeting schedule.
So moved.
Okay, Michael made the motion. Emily?
Yes. I second.
Emily seconds, okay. All in
Forgot what I was doing
favor?
there for a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we get to communications. The tree warden. He emailed a list of trees in need of trimming to me, so I will get started on that. They are the Ford is on Academy Lane, which we've done in the past. There are trees on Osceola Trail, Saunders Hollow Road, and I guess that's it. Oh, and there's a tree that's hanging over our 4 dogwoods at the junction of Johnny Cake Hill Road and McCurdy Road. So I will get in touch with an arborist to get that done. Okay, so are there any questions so far?
No.
Is Mr. Davis on the, still on?
I think he is. Yes, he is.
Yes,
So, Mr. Davis, would you like to be the next person,
sure.
please? And you live at what is your address?
16 Beta Avenue, Old Line, at Rogers Lake. BETA.
Okay, I have you on the agenda. I recognized your name. Okay, because I have that I don't know if you saw, but I have that on the agenda. So, did you get, so you have 3 trees that you're concerned about with significant decay, correct?
Right.
Okay. I think I responded to you in an email, that I forward all the trees that are reported on the town server. I forward everything to Tom Dagnan, who was our tree warden, and Ed Adonti.
I
who
think
is
Ed looked at it,
He did.
but I'm not. I think he did. Nobody's gotten back to me. I remember the email very well, but nobody's gotten back to me yet.
And I did respond to you. I just wanted to confirm that. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So, I know that Tom will be in town this weekend, or will be looking at trees either this weekend or next weekend. So, do you have a question, or just concerned about when the job will be done, when the evaluation will be done?
My main thing is the evaluation. One tree close to, right next to where Eversource, I finally convinced them to take one down a few years back.
Okay.
Donnie tried to get him to take this other one that's rotted in the center, and they wouldn't take that one. They said they don't do anything after the last can, meaning transformer. I told him, I said, my money is just as good as the next person's. There's no reason you can't do my trees too.
Okay.
But this one is a lot of the center of it is missing.
Okay.
And the other,
I saw
the
that.
other
Yes.
two,
That.
the other
And
two, there's a lot of,
I did forward your email to both Ed and Tom Degnan. So,
okay.
what I will do is I will email the tree warden once again and tell him that you attended the meeting and you're very concerned about these trees. There are 3 of them, correct? I have this
Yes.
written on the agenda. Okay. Okay. So,
One of them is
I
marked.
asked them.
One
Go
of them is
ahead.
marked with a tape around it. I can mark the other 2 with tape too, if it'd be a help to them.
I will write that. Trees will be marked with tape.
Okay.
Okay. And I will tell him, ask him to add these trees, which I'm sure he has already, but I'll ask him to add these trees to his list for the next time that he goes out looking at trees. Are they, you think
All right.
they're in serious, is there any danger of them falling, or?
Just the one that is next to the telephone pole. It is
Okay.
my main concern. The other 2 are they're starting to go in the middle and they're falling apart.
Okay. All right, I will do that.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'll get an email off to him tomorrow, Mr. Davis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. Thank you. Okay. Is Catherine Hewitt, are you here? Are you on?
Hi, I'm here. I'm just listening to the meeting. Thank you. And I'm
Okay.
a reporter from Connecticut Examiner, just to let you know. But
Oh, okay.
I'm just listening. I wanted to find out about the project on Sill Lane and then the Ferry
Okay.
Road. I'm following
Okay.
those. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, so we'll move on. We had a resident with a question about the emerald ash borer systemic treatments for the ash trees in town. He wanted to know if we've ever used systemic treatments. And I wrote back to him and told him that generally speaking, we've taken down ash trees the past few years, several of them. And by the time we were notified, the trees were dead, were dying and dead, and we had to take them down. We used systemic treatments. And in fact, as Tom mentioned to us at meetings, we don't have as many trees in Old Lyme, as many ash trees as inland Connecticut, where there's more of a problem with the emerald ash borer. It seems that they're not as prevalent along the shore, at least in this town anyway. So I mentioned two of them on Sill Lane, very old ones that were taken down, if you remember last year, beautiful old ash trees. And they were full of green leaves. They were healthy. In the fall of 2018 and 2019 spring, there were very few leaves when they were reported to us. And I inspected them and couldn't see any signs from the ground, of course, of the borer. But when they were cut down, there was evidence they were in the tree. So it's most of the time when we learn about it, it's already too late. Okay, so Ferry Road sidewalk improvement. The engineer, Wade Thomas, who came to our meeting last month, met with the landscape architect. And a few weeks ago, he invited the tree warden, who could not be present. And I checked with Tom the other day, and he has not had a report. He doesn't know what the meeting. So, Michael, for your information, the trees will be significantly damaged when they install the new sidewalks. They will be cutting the roots on one side. At least 12 inches, Tom said. So the old maples will really be severely impacted. And unlike when the new road and curbing went in on Lime Street, there won't be any sides for the remainder of the tree. The trees roots grow under the road, so they're not going to have the nutrition that they need to withstand the damage. This is in Tom's opinion. It's all in our minutes from last month. But before we make a decision about removing all of them and replanting, I really wanted to be confident that this was the only alternative. So we discussed it at the meeting. Emily was there, and we discussed alternatives for maybe swinging the sidewalk out as it is in front of the Lyme Youth Service Bureau. But that would mean that we would have to contact property owners, because the land right on the sidewalk, on the north side of the sidewalk, is privately owned. So that was one of Emily suggested, maybe putting in a bridge over them. So we'll wait to see what the landscape architect suggests. And I'm sure Wade Thomas will be getting back to us either by phone with Tom or by email with Tom and me, or, we'll invite him to come to the meeting, to the meeting in January.
Good.
Okay, is there any questions about that? I want to mention also that the Historic District Commission approved the Ferry Road project with conditions that it be in compliance with the steep grant and recommendations of the Tree Commission. So
Good.
they are two conditions that we know about. Okay, is there any other business? No one?
No. No.
Okay. Then I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and stay healthy. And I need a motion to adjourn.
Okay, well, I also wish everybody happy Thanksgiving. I can't believe it's a week away. Oh my gosh.
I know.
I know. Wow, how did that happen? So, yes, no, I wish we could have seen everybody today, but why not? So I will make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
And likewise, everybody stay safe, and I'll second the motion.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Martha.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Martha, for hosting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Take care.
guys. Take
Happy
care.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Okay.
Happy
Bye.
Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Martha.
Wow, it was a good meeting.
Do you think?
Everything worked. Yes.
I think it did. I hope I wasn't too, did I sound negative?
No, you brought up very good things for people to think about
Okay, good.
with this.
I didn't
Yeah.
don't want them to think that we don't want to, do this, because I think it's a good project. But they need to know that there are a lot of items to consider. There's the maintenance, is going to be a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and we still have a lot of talking to do about it. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll go back and talk with their members, and Edie will find volunteers, and we'll talk with Tom, and we'll see what happens, if how he feels. Maybe we can find alternative plants. Maybe we can, we won't have as many plants, but we'll work on it. But I thank you for helping me with this,
Oh,
walking
sure.
me through and holding my hand. Wow, I'm on WebEx. I also called in, so I have my phone here too.
Oh,
So
that's good.
because at first I couldn't figure out the audio, but then I did. So I just left my phone on. And I see that my younger daughter was trying to FaceTime with me on my phone while I was here, and then she called. So probably wanted to see the baby. So anyway, you have a nice Thanksgiving. And how is Josh, by the way?
He's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's coming to have Thanksgiving with us. So
good. Where is he living?
he lives in Montville.
Good.
Yeah, he
Okay.
works in Groton. He lives in Montville. He's fine.
Good.
Yep.
Are we disconnected?
Not yet.
Okay. That's good. This is all going to be on the video.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. All right, Martha. Take care now.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. End meeting.